Maybe right now you're sitting by the window, holding a warm cup of tea. The light is soft, the trees are swaying gently, and for a moment, everything feels quiet, peaceful. It's in these small, still moments that we sometimes feel just how quickly time moves. How life, even with all its beauty, is always changing. Our hands age, our bodies slow down, and the days seem to slip by a little faster than they used to. And yet, there's still something inside us that hopes for more. More time. Not just more years on the calendar, but more years that feel good. Years with clarity, with movement, with peace in the heart and strength in the bones. Let me ask you something gently. What if you could have that? What if there were simple things you could do, even now, that might give you more life in the years ahead? Aging brings its challenges. Of course it does. But it also brings wisdom, doesn't it? It teaches us what matters. And that's why I want to sit with you for a few minutes today. No pressure, no big promises. Just a heart-to-heart conversation about 7 gentle habits that science and experience and have shown can make a real difference. Not miracles, just real caring steps you can take. So if you'll stay with me, I'd like to share these with you. Let's talk, softly and simply, about 7 things you can begin doing today. Not to chase youth, but to cherish life. Not just to live longer, but to live better. I'd like to begin with something simple, something most of us already know deep down, but sometimes forget to honor. Our bodies are always listening. Even now, at this stage of life, your body is quietly responding to the choices you make each day. And it doesn't ask for perfection. It only asks for kindness. The first small habit that can make a big difference is movement. Just gentle daily movement. This doesn't mean hours at a gym or pushing yourself beyond comfort. It could be a slow walk around the block, some light stretches in your living room, or even dancing softly to a song that brings back good memories. The important thing is to move. When we move, even a little, our joints feel looser, our circulation improves, and our mood often lifts without us even realizing. Think of movement like oil for an old door hinge. It doesn't take much to keep things opening smoothly. Let me tell you about a woman named Clara. She started walking 10 minutes each morning when she turned 72. At first it was difficult. Her knees ached, and she had to rest after just a few blocks. But day by day, it got easier. A year later, she was walking for 30 minutes, breathing easier and sleeping better. She often said those morning walks became her favorite part of the day, not just for her body, but for her spirit too. The second habit is just as gentle and just as powerful, nourishing your body with good, simple food. This isn't about dieting or denying yourself. It's about choosing foods that love you back. Think of whole fruits, colorful vegetables, warm grains, and fresh water. Our bodies need these things now more than ever. They help fight inflammation, protect our hearts, support our brains, and give us energy that doesn't fade too quickly. I know it can be tempting to reach for what's easy, packaged snacks, sweet treats, things we've grown used to, but even adding one fresh thing to your plate each day can be a gift to your future self. Your body is still working for you, even if it's tired. It still wants to heal. And these small acts, moving a little more, eating a little better, are ways of saying, I'm still here, I still matter, because you do. Now let's go a little deeper, beyond the body, into the quieter parts of ourselves, the places where we carry our worries, our memories, our regrets. As we age, we don't just feel changes in our joints or muscles. We feel them in our hearts, too. Maybe you've noticed it. That sense of slowing down, of quiet loneliness, or the feeling that the world is moving faster than we can keep up. It can be easy to wonder if we've been left behind. But you haven't been left behind. You're still here. You're still breathing. And that means there's still time. Not just to care for your body, but to care for your inner peace. That brings us to the third habit, resting well. Rest isn't just about sleep, although sleep is a big part of it. It's also about giving your mind and body permission to slow down, to reset, to heal. So many seniors struggle with poor sleep, tossing and turning, waking in the early hours, never quite feeling restored. But did you know that even small bedtime routines can help? Turning off screens an hour before bed, keeping your room cool and dark, listening to soft music or the sound of rain. Even a warm cup of herbal tea and a good book can become a signal to your body. It's safe now. You can let go. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's a form of medicine. It helps your heart, your brain, your mood, everything. And it's never too late to create space for better rest. Now let's talk about something just as important and often harder to speak about: stress. That brings us to the fourth habit: learning to gently let go of tension. We all carry it in our shoulders, in our stomachs, in the tightness of our chest. Some of us carry it from the past, old pain, unresolved moments, losses that never fully healed. Others feel it from the daily worries, finances, family, health. But stress doesn't need to control your story. Simple practices like slow breathing, sitting in silence for 5 minutes, or writing your thoughts in a little notebook can do wonders. These aren't cures, they're comforts. They teach your body how to soften again, how to feel safe. Picture a snow globe that's been shaken, thoughts swirling, heart racing. Now picture setting it down and watching it settle. That's what these small moments of calm can do. You don't have to carry everything. Not anymore. Not alone. These habits, sleep and rest, letting go of stress, aren't signs of weakness. They're acts of wisdom. They're ways of telling your heart, I'm listening to you, I care for you, I want peace for you, and you deserve that peace. Let's take a moment now to think about something many of us tend to put off. Not because we don't care, but because life gets in the way, or we've grown used to managing things on our own. But staying on top of our health doesn't have to be overwhelming. In fact, it can be a quiet form of self-respect. That brings us to the fifth habit: seeing your doctor regularly. Now I know, doctor visits aren't always pleasant. The waiting rooms, the tests, the poking and prodding, it can feel like too much, and sometimes we're afraid of what we might hear. But these check-ins are not about fear. They're about protection, about catching things early, so small problems don't become big ones. Whether it's checking blood pressure, cholesterol, memory, or bone strength, these visits are like little checkpoints along the road, a way to make sure we're still moving in the right direction. Think of it like getting your car looked at. You don't wait for the engine to fail. You go in for tune-ups. Your body is no different. It deserves that care. You deserve that care. And while physical health is essential, so is something we often underestimate: human connection. That brings us to habit number 6, staying socially connected. It's easy to withdraw as we get older. Friends move away, loved ones pass, families get busy, and before we know it, our world becomes quieter, smaller. But being around others, even just a little, can bring light back into our lives. You don't have to attend big gatherings or do things that tire you out. A short phone call, a visit with a neighbor, a weekly group at the community center. Even sharing a cup of tea with someone can warm the heart in ways medicine cannot. There was a man named George who joined a small book club at age 78. He didn't care much for reading, but he liked being around people who laughed and listened. Over time, those meetings became the highlight of his week, not because of the books, but because of the company. Studies show that strong social ties can help people live longer, with less illness and more happiness. But more importantly, they remind us that we're not alone, that we still belong, that there are people out there who care, and who want to hear our stories, our laughter, even our silence. So if you've been feeling isolated, try reaching Out to just one person this week. One. Maybe someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Or someone new. You might be surprised by how good it feels to simply be seen again. Your health isn't just in your hands or your heart. It's in your relationships too. And nurturing those connections, along with caring for your body, can add not only years to your life, but life to your years. Now let's take a gentle turn inward. Not to the body, not to the outside world, but to the quiet, sacred space within the heart. Because no matter how many years we've lived, no matter how much we've seen or carried, we all have a longing deep down for peace, for meaning, for stillness that makes life feel whole. This brings us to the seventh habit, one that doesn't require movement or medicine, but something even more powerful, nurturing your spirit. That might sound like a big idea, but really, it's something very soft, very simple. It might mean sitting quietly in the early morning, just breathing and being. It might mean prayer or listening to music that touches something deep inside. For some, it's time spent in nature, watching the birds, walking among trees, feeling the sun on their face. For others, it's reading scripture, or meditating, or simply talking with someone who helps them feel connected to something greater than themselves. Whatever it is for you, whatever helps you feel rooted and comforted, hold on to it. Make space for it. Because in those quiet spiritual moments, we are reminded that we are more than our aches, our age, or our circumstances. We are souls, still growing, still unfolding, and caring for the soul is just as important as caring for the body. One woman I once knew, Margaret, used to write little blessings in a notebook each morning. She'd write things like, "Thank you for this day," or "Let my heart be kind today." They were small, but she said they helped her remember that each day, no matter how ordinary, was a gift. Even on hard days. Especially on hard days. You see, as we grow older, we begin to carry both more sorrow and more wisdom. We think of those we've loved and lost. We wonder what legacy we'll leave behind. And sometimes, we feel unsure of our place in a world that's changing so quickly, but your spirit, your light, is still here. It hasn't dimmed. It may be quieter, but it's not gone. There is still beauty in you, still grace, still purpose. Nurturing your spirit isn't about doing more. It's about being more present, more gentle with yourself. It's about finding moments that restore your heart and remind you that your life, even now, holds deep meaning. So take time to sit with yourself, to breathe, to listen, to feel. That stillness is where healing begins. That quiet is where life speaks softly to us, reminding us that we're not alone, not forgotten, and never too old to feel joy again. So here we are at the end of this gentle talk. Just two souls sitting quietly together, reflecting on what it means to live well, not just long. Maybe as you listened, something stirred inside you, a memory, a small hope, or even a quiet promise to yourself to begin again, in your own way, at your own pace. These 7 habits we've spoken about, they're not grand or flashy. They don't ask you to change everything overnight. They simply invite you to take little steps, to move your body with kindness, to feed yourself with love, to rest deeply, to let go of the stress you no longer need to carry, to see your doctor not out of fear, but out of care. To reach out to others so your heart stays warm, and to tend to your spirit, like a garden that still blooms, even after many seasons. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do them all at once. Just begin with one, just one, and let that small act become a light on your path. You see, the truth is, your life still matters. Every breath, every smile, every quiet moment by the window. You are not done. You are still growing, still learning, still offering something only you can give to this world. So as you finish your tea or as the day fades gently outside your window, I hope you carry this with you. The belief that more time, good, peaceful, meaningful time, is still possible. Not just more years, but more life in the years you have. And I'll be right here whenever you need a reminder. You're not walking this path alone. Take care of yourself, dear one. You are deeply loved, and there's still so much beauty ahead.